want to talk about what on earth is going on at Aston Martin because I don't understand it. Or I don't understand what they're doing more specifically. That's what this video is about. And I don't understand it from two perspectives. One, the resale value of their cars on the market at the moment is, well, you'll see how bad it is in a minute. And secondarily, the stock market has absolutely pummeled them over the past few years, decimated them from their IPO back in 2018. Let's get stuck into those two things. To start with, let's look at the cars on the market. Since 2018, if you look at verified sold results from auctions around the world, you'd be paying around 67 grand for an Aston Martin. This is the whole spectrum. Today, the number sits at 54. It's a 19% fall over that period. Apart from 2020 or 2021, every single year has seen prices fall for these cars. It means about a 3.5% fall year on year consistently for the brand. Let's put that in context. Generally, the car market since 2018 is up, and it's up by about 10%. So on one hand, you've got the car market 10% up, and your Aston is 19% down on the flip side. That's issue number one. Issue number two is when you focus at the really, really high end for Aston. I'm talking Valkyrie, I'm talking Velour, I'm talking Speedsters. They're ultra rare, ultra exclusive cars that you would hope would do very well on residual values and sell for overs. That's not really been the case. It is a really tough watch, and if you are one of the people that has got an allocation for one or multiple of these cars, it's got to be a little bit painful. Let's start with their latest creation, the Velour. 110 of them made, about 1.5 million including taxes. Obviously there's a range there depending on how you spec the vehicle. 29th of December, Collecting Cars had one of these go and sell on their platform. It had 40 kilometres from new, and it sold for just shy of £1.4 million. So you've got 100k bath on that first Velour. Sample of one, maybe the rest are a bit rosier. Let's try Valkyrie. If you were lucky enough to get a Valkyrie allocation, you'd be looking, including taxes, in the region of £2.5 million to buy one of these. Again, highly spec dependent, that's broadly where you're going to end up. And the first result wasn't bad. RM sold one in Dubai in March last year, just under £2.5 million, 2.46 million pounds. More recently, they sold another one in Dubai. Similar mileage to the previous car, 109 kilometers on the clock. This guy did have an excuse. It was originally delivered to Japan. However, that car sold for 2.044 million. It's a 450k bath. That's not including any seller's premium as well. Not a good start. Valkyrie's down, Velour's down. What about the Speedster? This is actually the rarest of the three. They made 88 of these, and they retailed for in the region of £765,000 when new. Three have come to market. Every single one hasn't sold at auction. We haven't seen a single public sale. However, we've got the data for you. Bonhams had one at their revival sale last year, £700,000 to £900,000 estimate, 300 odd miles on the clock. The high bid in the room, excluding premium, was £590,000. RM had another one in Munich later in the year. What happened there? Similar estimates. It reached £515,000 as the hybrid in the room. Again, excluding premium, but pretty ugly reading. It's a £250,000 bath. Whichever way you look at Aston Martin, whether it's the market overall, their ultra high-end cars, there is weakness across the board. There are some cars that are performing well. However, it's a really tricky story to sell positively. Market, big concern. Quick little interlude. Sorry for the interruption. If you're enjoying this video, perhaps you'll enjoy our app Drive, available on Android and iOS. It is the way to make your automotive life easier. Instead of trying to track all the auctions across the world, that's a faff. Come to the app. You can do it all in one place. You can see cars that are for sale and everything that's sold historically. If you've got a little collection, add them. We'll track their value, and every time one sells or is up for sale, we'll notify you straight in the app. Nice and easy. Back to the video. What about the business itself? Is there some positivity lying within there? Is there some nugget of hope to try and grab onto with Aston Martin as an entity at the moment? If you look at the share price, probably not. So they IPO'd back in 2018, and this graph shows what's happened to their share price since that date. You don't have to be a genius to look at this chart and work out it's pretty grim reading. Put some numbers on it. their share price is down 97% since they IPO'd. 97%. Even in the last year alone, their share price is down 50%. It is a bloodbath. And we're going to rattle through a little timeline of what has gone on at Aston Martin, just some of their public statements that they've made since 2020 and how wrong they've proved to be. Stroll turns up 2020 and takes control at Aston Martin. February 2022, the company is under some pretty serious pressure. And he makes a quote that is aged badly, shall we say. I've got the quote here. He says, "Let me be crystal clear, black and white, we do not need money." Understood. Since then, they've raised about £970 million in equity. Maybe you did need the money. But hey, maybe things will turn around more recently. Early 2024, Mr. Stroll says, "An all-new portfolio of models support the delivery of the company's near and medium-term financial targets, including achieving positive free cash flow generation in the second half of 2024. Great. Second half of 2024, Aston Martin will be able to cover its costs and have some positive free cash flow coming through the business. Q3 2024, they bring in a new CEO, Adrian Hallmark, the old Bentley chairman and CEO. And when they're delivering their Q3 results, he says this: "Our improved financial and operational performance in Q3 2024 demonstrates our strategy's effectiveness. We are on track to meet our revised full year 2024 guidance." And then rather bizarrely, very, very shortly after that, in November last year, Aston Martin released a profit warning. Saying profits could be down as much as 11%, and that they were raising £210 million more in funds. £110 million of that is in equity, and £100 million of that is in debt. Why on earth they did not just announce this at the same time as their Q3 results, instead of saying, "Oh, it's all good, we are swimming along beautifully, we're on track to meet our guidance," and then in November they have to pull their pants down and show that they're not on track to meet their guidance, and they need a hell of a lot more money. Beggars belief. The other thing that was really telling within this is that Aston Martin has a load of major investors within it. The Saudi Public Investment Fund, it has Geely, and it has Mercedes-Benz. Neither of those big three chose to invest in Aston Martin in this round. All of them stood back and didn't get involved. You can read into that what you will. So to summarise that, we've got Lawrence Stroll who's come in 2020. She stood up very publicly in 22 and said we don't need the money. Since he's took over, they've raised £1.8 billion in equity and about £260 million in debt. Has £2 billion of cash that has essentially evaporated with no material impact on the business. The business is still operating not in a positive free cash flow environment. The CFO is still banging on that they're on track to hit it. You've really got to ask some questions. It does leave me with a few questions to ask about Aston Martin. My first question from a value point of view. Aston Martin have a habit of wringing out special model after special model. They're at it again at the moment. Valhalla and Valiant are inbound, although deliveries on both of those have been delayed. Those constant special editions are only going to depress prices further. It's already an issue that is not going to turn around in the short term, particularly at the top end of the market I'm talking here. The second thing is from a financial perspective. It is broken promise after broken promise. 2019 with the Valhalla, they said we're going to produce 500. Now they're producing 999. 2021, they say Valhalla deliveries are going to kick off in the second half of 2023. Now they're going to be delivering in the second half of 2025. 2022, Stroll stands up and says, we do not need money. Black and white, we don't. Since then, you've raised £970 million. And to top it all off, all of last year, we are on track to meet our guidance. No, you weren't. Ultimately, you've got to ask questions of Mr. Stroll. And I know he has a massive reputation, but I think you're already seeing this. The fact that the Saudi investment fund didn't reinvest, the fact that Geely didn't reinvest, and the fact that Mercedes-Benz didn't choose to reinvest tells you a hell of a lot, even if they're not saying anything publicly. Real shame here is I want Aston Martin to do well. This isn't meant to be a hatchet job on them. It is just simply what I am seeing at the moment. So let me know your thoughts. What do you think the future of Aston Martin holds, and what needs to change to get them out of this current situation?